Hey everyone, Leigh Calvert here with Briggs Freeman Sotheby's International Realty, coming to you with your top 6 things to do when visiting an open house. Yep, talking to you buyers and sellers that may not be hosting an open house, but maybe you're going to one to maybe think about buying it or seeing what your competition's like if you're also on the market. Okay, let's kick off with number 1. Punctuality. Let's say the open house is 12 till 3, a common time for open houses. Ideally, don't turn up at like 2:55, right? Now, if you, don't get me wrong, making sure you turn up regardless, the agent who's hosting the open house is gonna appreciate that. But if you know there's another open house another day, another time that you could make, getting there at 2:55 with the idea of spending maybe 20, 30 minutes at the house, the hosting agent might have other commitments beyond the end of the open house time. So punctuality. Getting there right on time as well, I think that's great. You might even find you might beat the agent getting there who's going to host it open. Number 2, kids. I love kids. I got 3 of them. Taking kids to open houses, I tell you, I've seen it all happen. I've seen kids jump on a bed that was in a house that I had staged. They didn't realize that the bed was staging and it was very loosely put together. Well, the whole bed broke down and, the kids started crying and so forth. So kind of scared them a little bit. Anyway, bringing kids to an open house. It's not an area to be running around. I know kids in vacant houses, if it's vacant, seemingly they just love running around big open spaces at vacant houses. And seemingly they love making a lot of noise when doing so because they get the echo. But taking kids to open houses, try to keep them kind of simmered down in their activities, especially if there's other people there at open houses who might be really just trying to figure out if they want to live there. Jumping, running, try to get that under control. Bathroom uses, toilets use, try to limit that down. We'll talk about toilets again in a minute, but being mindful that, the house is not there simply just to get a bathroom break. Kids, try to keep them under control when you're open houses. Certainly will improve the experience for pretty much everybody. Next one, number 3, pets. Now, if you have a service dog, or perhaps it's a dog for the blind or something like that, there are certain measures you can take to arrange access. If it's a publicly open event, then I believe you have to provide access. But at the same time, there are measures to be taken to set up the house to allow a pet to come into the property. Now, if it's just your regular pet, dog, cat, hamster, pet bird, parrot, seen that before. If you can, try to avoid bringing them. The open houses really are not designed for bringing your pets along. So again, unless it's a service animal and you really, really, really need them, talk to the agent before coming into the house. Make sure they're aware. Make sure they can do anything they need to do prior to coming into the property. Should be able to try and make sure you can get access to the property. But pets, just be mindful of those. Number 4, toilet breaks. We talk about toilets with the kids. We're going to talk about toilets for everybody. Open houses are not there for your general restroom use. There are other facilities. However, if you have to go, my general rule coming from when I went on this football trip to Barcelona and we're on the bus, and I think Brian was the bus driver, and he was from up north, and he had a rule which was no logs on the bus. No logs on the bus. You can't hear me with that. It says no logs on the bus. That was his one rule. So you can go number 1, but not number 2. And I've generally found that to be a consistent rule with open houses. But sometimes you get the ones that just, they get some rule breakers. And but make sure, if you really had to go number 2, make sure there's air freshener. Make sure the flush goes all down well. Generally flush the toilet, make sure it refills, and make sure the tank refills before using the toilet, because not all the time the water might not be running or servicing the property if it's a vacant home. Okay, the last thing you want to do is use the toilet and it can't get flushed away. That would be the worst. So check the toilet first, then use the toilet if you have to use it. And then after you finish, please lid down. Every time, please lid down. Number 5, open houses, not a time for inspecting the house. If you're interested in the property, you can arrange a time with the listing agent and the seller per conditions of an agreement, perhaps, to have some time to come and inspect the property, either yourself or with a licensed inspector. Now, if you're thinking, well, I'd like to inspect the house before I make an offer, still, open houses are not the time to do that. That is a moment to come in and get the visual side of things, fill the space. It's not time to do an in-depth inspection. If there's other people coming into the property, you want to make sure their enjoyment of the property is consistent with everybody else. If you're in there making comments about condition or something that's not satisfactory to you, it might be satisfactory to somebody else. Anyway, inspections are not to be done at open houses. And lastly, number 6, what's been missing? Do you think you might be able to guess this one? Food. Food is, I tell you, avoid bringing food to open houses. If food is provided, then that's on the agent. The agent has made sure that there's something available for you. Usually it's like cookies. Maybe you might see the occasional small sandwich or, a muffin or something like that. But food, avoid bringing that to open houses. You want to make sure nothing's being spilled or sauce drip or anything like that that can end up messing the property, especially if the property has carpet. So anyway, 6 tips. Next time you go to your open house, you've probably not had to deal with this anyway, but we just want to make sure that we've got a message going out there for open house etiquette. Anyway, for more videos, please check my page, subscribe to the page, more is coming up. If you have any comments or if your own advice, drop them in the comments. Love to see what you've got out there, and maybe I will republish this with your perspective in mind. Anyway, thank you for watching, guys. We'll see you again soon.